guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. It is Wednesday morning. We're so excited to kick off the day with you to talk about all the trending stories across the country. Our top story for you today, the UAE calls for restraint between India and Pakistan.
2 football clubs were fined following riots.
We're going to talk about the goat that sold for 70,000 dirham.
And there's this 8-year-old girl which returned 17,000 dirhams, which she found in the cinema.
Oh my gosh, that was mine.
Oh, Casey.
Imagine.
Now, in today's rapid weather report, it's dusty with temperatures ranging from 28 degrees to 36 degrees.
It is dusty out and it is sticky inside. Good morning to everyone on all of our channels that we're going live. Ward, your friend has been through something.
Yes. So basically, I was telling Casey the story right before the show of I have a friend and she was broken up with in Zahtar Uzet. And she was telling me that I would have preferred a phone call. You know, we did not have to go there.
Is she okay?
Not really, but she said that I would have preferred a phone call instead of being broken up with. And honestly, I get it. Like, imagine you have such a special relationship with someone and they take you to McDonald's to break up with you.
Location matters.
To be honest with you, not even. Because imagine it's like fine dining and you're really enjoying yourself and you're like, this steak is amazing. And then they're like, listen, we need to talk. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it will go well either way.
Taking you fine dining to break up.
I'm just imagining different examples in my head. I don't think it will go well either way.
Right, I agree. But like, where is... I don't know if I've done that much breaking up, by the way. You know what I mean? But where is the right place to, like, she said she'd prefer a phone call, but really, like, if you imagine someone broke up with you on a phone call.
Honestly, sometimes you don't need to meet with people in real life because think about it. Basically, what they're doing is they're making a goodbye. You know, I've never been broken up with, but it's just I think no, I did not mean it. I did not mean it in a bad way.
No,
it's just
nice.
You know, hopefully one day we get to experience that. But it's just more of the fact of I feel bad because it's like you're taking someone to a location to tell them, I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, I feel like a phone call would be better.
No, I know what you mean, but you've got to do it face to face. I think a phone call is rude, but I just wouldn't do it in a public setting. I've been in breakups, so I would say mutual agreements most times. But they've been in public places and I've been in a restaurant bowling and I think my ex at the time, he was bowling too. And like, you're just, you know when you're like, you're young and in love and you're breaking up and it's like, this is the worst thing ever. Private, like go to the person's house. You don't need to do it in a restaurant. So if you've taken someone to a shawarma shop, I mean, send them home with...
Like, think about it. It's like when you say it like that. Oh, and it's like the location. Like, I don't think anything could, the location won't fix it. Because if it's like, if it's like a fast food place, that just feels lame. But if it's a really nice place, it's like, I was enjoying my food. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Like, why'd you have to cut that off? I don't think, or like, if they take you to a nice place, it's almost like, are you trying to buy out my feelings? Do you want this to go better for you? So I don't think this would go well either way.
Or do not want a scene.
Ooh.
Anyway.
Yeah. It's tough.
I mean, I would just do it privately, but I think they deserve a face-to-face. Guys, good morning to everyone tuning in on all of our platforms. Thank you so much for tuning in. Sometimes we wait a little while to get more viewers to start our top stories. So we're going to kick into our top story of the day. The UAE calls for restraint between India and Pakistan. His Highness Sheikh Abdullah bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs, has called on the Republic of India and the Islamic Republic of Pakistan to exercise restraint to de-escalate tensions and avoid further escalation that could threaten regional and international peace.
Now, this follows escalating tensions following the attack in Kashmir that killed 26 people on April 22nd, 2025. Now, in the last 48 hours, India launched Operation Sindoor, conducting airstrikes and artillery attacks on 9 sites in Pakistan and Pakistan-administered Kashmir, targeting alleged terrorist infrastructure.
Pakistan reported at least 8 deaths from these strikes and has activated air defense units along the border. Both nations have heightened military readiness.
Now, His Highness reaffirmed that diplomacy and dialogue remain the most effective means of peacefully resolving crisis and achieving the shared aspirations of nations for peace, stability, and prosperity. And he further emphasized that the United Arab Emirates will continue its efforts to support all initiatives aimed at achieving peaceful resolutions to regional and international conflicts and mitigating their humanitarian consequences.
And we can only reiterate those words. We hope for a fast and quick crisis resolution between the two countries. Let's jump into our next story. We're talking about these riots that took place at a football match.
Yes, and now Dubai police started an investigation and are studying surveillance footage to identify those behind riots at a football match. Now, tensions were high among fans on social media even prior to the game, but stakes were high on the pitch when Al Wasl won 2-1.
You've probably seen these videos. So the UAE FA have stepped in since then, and they've issued a fine for 80,000 dirham to Al Wasl after the fans lit a smoke bomb, and there was some verbal abuse that took place on the pitches. There was also some bottle throwing at the opposing team's fans. So Shebhab Al Ali were also fined 70,000 dirham, and their fans were also fined for insulting and bottle throwing on the pitch, and that's according to Emirat Al Yum.
Now, take note, under the UAE's sports law, Federal Law number 8 of 2014 and Cabinet Resolution number 31 of 2015, engaging in violence, riots, or unruly behavior such as throwing objects, using abusive language, or inciting crowds at sports events can result in fines ranging from 10,000 dirhams to 1 million dirhams and imprisonment.
Sports inspires passion, but it should never get this far. You know, you see in other countries, much more so in Europe, we rarely see this here, that type of really negative behaviour that happens with football. So it's amazing to see the UAE stepping in so quickly.
Exactly.
And putting out some serious fines that will make the clubs take action.
No, I totally agree with you, Casey. I remember there was this thing I read. I wasn't sure if it was in the UK, but every single time there was like a famous football match, the chances of like, you know, this is another form of violence, but domestic violence, it would say that, yeah, the rates of domestic violence on those nights, if the man, like their favorite team would not win, the rates of domestic violence would increase.
Oh my gosh,
and it's
so
like
scary.
that, and I know, and it's like that kind of thing there. It's not even regulated, but you know, here we don't even see, you know, domestic violence involved with football. But even in examples like this, you know, the UAE has provided laws to regulate them. And I just realized something, by the way. I know a player who plays in Al Wasl. I should probably ask what happened there. I should probably check in.
Check in and see
I'm
they're
extremely
okay.
surprised. Yeah, I will.
It's just such a shame because like sport can be such an amazing thing, and it's amazing that there's such a kind of a deep-rooted love for football in society. Like, it's so good to have a team to support, but it just should never need to get this way. So we are happy that there's been such strict precautions put into place to make sure that this type of behaviour doesn't continue.
And I think the fact that the fine can go up to 1 million dirhams, I mean, that's crazy. So, you know that you have to be wary when you're on the pitch.
You don't want your team, because your team won't be able to pay those fines, and then they will
you never
cease
know.
to exist.
They might disband.
They might disband. Speaking of wild amounts of money for interesting things, we jump into our next story. So a goat, not this one exactly, but a goat sold for 70,000 dirham in Ras Al Khaimah. So if you had 70,000 dirham, what would you spend it on? Would it be a luxury holiday, a new ride? Maybe you'd invest in some swanky real estate. Well, one person chose to drop 70K on a goat.
But not just any goat. We're talking about a showstopper from the Salali breed sold at the Al Manag auction at Friday. Now, the Salali goat hails from the Salala region of Oman and is super popular across the UAE and the Gulf. Now, it's known for its sleek look, compact size, upright ears, and straight head, and a signature curl tail. Look at it. It's so cute, Casey.
I love goats, by the way. You know, when you go to...
Really random, but why?
You know, when you go to the farms, and especially here, they always have little baby goats.
Yeah.
I love all animals, but goats are adorable.
They're so cute.
Adorable.
So cute.
I wouldn't like cross one on a mountain in the UAE because obviously they're wild and I feel like their horns would take me out. But I was trying to figure out why this goat racked up such an impressive amount because they have goat markets regularly. And while I couldn't get too deep into it, it brought up the camel industry again. And pricey camels, which have gone for like one camel was sold for $9.5 million. Because the camel beauty industry is so
Oh my God.
so prized in Saudi. And they're prized for like, you know, big droopy lips and these amazing eyelashes and their beautiful coats, but then they're also enhanced. So like...
Oh, I never knew that, Casey. That like, it's like their appearance could actually increase the price.
It's like a beauty pageant for camels.
Almost, but they do have such pretty eyelashes.
But in some cases, there's actually been some controversies because the animals have been enhanced.
Oh.
As though I'm going to a beauty pageant and I would enhance myself.
Oh
There
my
were
God.
people enhancing the camels with Botox for the big lips. They've been fined for this behavior, but it was malpractice that was taking place at some of these camel pageants, yeah.
Oh my God, I feel bad.
baby, yeah.
I feel bad though, almost, because I feel like with camels, like Casey, I see them in my backyard. Because you know in
Do you?
Damac Hills too,
Yeah.
you know the camels that are just walking the street? I see them in
Amazing.
my backyard, and camels, I would say, are such kind animals.
Oh, I love them too.
They don't attack. Have you ever ridden one, by the way?
Yeah, but
Oh
like...
my God, I hate riding them though.
I was gonna say,
oh my God, no.
not my favorite thing. No.
You know when I go up, I'm like, that's it, I'm falling. I can't do it.
I haven't seen a video of someone falling from... I don't want to, I'm not encouraging it, but you're right, it's like you go up and you're like, this isn't gonna happen.
Because it like, you feel it, you go down and then you go up and then suddenly you're up there and it's just extremely high. But oh, that I didn't know that they use plastic surgery on them.
To make them more beautiful and enhanced.
And it's
I
like,
know.
when you even think more deeply about it, like we all know a doctor isn't doing that. I mean, they would lose their medical license. So where are they even finding these materials? Or there's so many unanswered questions here.
Well, I agree with you. And also, why was a goat sold for 70K? These Salali goats, they're also known for the really juicy, tender meat. So this will probably be
Okay.
the... What do you call it? This will probably be the man that impregnates all the other lady goats, and then they'll all create lovely tender meat for generations to come. Let's take a quick break. I want to give a shout out to the Lovin Dubai Show podcast, which is your go-to for the biggest stories, real talk, and top guests across the UAE, because this show is in fact in a podcast, and you can listen anytime, anywhere. You can listen on your way home. Just find the Lovin Dubai Show podcast wherever you get your podcasts. Hit that follow button and never miss an episode. We'd really appreciate it.
Now, for our final story of the day, this one is completely crazy. An 8-year-old returned 17K, which she found in the cinema.
So, a little Egyptian girl has been praised by Dubai police for her honesty after finding and returning this hefty sum.
Now, Lily Jamal Ramadan spotted the cash on a bench and immediately informed her father. Now, they went straight to the Al Rashidiyah police station.
How often do these stories happen? The mind boggles. The owner of the money, by the way, which we never usually get the end of the story of like the who left it, but the owner of the money had already filed a lost item report, and thanks to Lily, the entire amount was returned safely.
Now, police have honored her as a role model for the community, proving integrity has no age. Honestly, I am so proud of her. She did the right thing, because I feel like in this case, Casey, if she actually took that 17K, no one is gonna blame an 80-year-old. No one is gonna go after her. They're gonna be like, man, like I feel like even the owner is gonna be like, you know what? I want to make that kid happy, because I have seen like generous examples of that here in the UAE, where people just want to make children happy. So I think the fact that she took it, she told her father, and the fact that even her father was like, we need to go and tell the police. I don't think anybody would have done that. I feel like it's not to be underestimated.
I think there's a lot of stories of people doing the right thing here in the UAE,
Yeah.
but it's always adults. And I think a 7 or 8 year old may not even be expected. Like imagine if you found, because she's just young enough to think, what if I keep this? And what if I put it onto my bed? And could you imagine if she'd done that? And like 2-3 months later, the parents were like, where are you going? And she's like, oh, I got it at the cinema. Which cinema? And that would have been a really difficult fish to fry, because they'd think, okay, how am I going to get this back? But Lily, shout out to you. She did the right thing.
She did the right thing. And I think for me with this story, something that also stood out to me, it's the fact that Dubai police is so involved in family affairs, which I so love. Like the fact that they honored her, it was almost like a celebration. It reminds me of the story, Casey, that you guys had covered about, I think she was an 18-year-old girl and she ran away from home. And Dubai police actually helped get her back home to her parents, because her parents went to them, and they even had like a meeting with them. So the kid, the parents, and so for me, like you don't see this anywhere where, the police are like so involved.
Very
with
approachable.
And like they're not just involved with family affairs in the way of, how sometimes you hear of the stories of like a cop gets attached to like a juvenile child. Do you understand what I mean? No, here, they're not just doing it because, this child really needs the help. They're doing it because they want to be a part of the community. They're naturally embedded into it.
That is a
and
really
I don't
good
think we
point.
see that everywhere.
True, I think you're right. And when there's something in life about knowing that there's a support system behind you, and you can have that in your relationship, in your family, but here, like if I lost 17K, I know I could go to Dubai police and potentially get it back. Like in other countries, there's like corruption, things go missing, da da da. Like I feel like you have trust in the system here that you just don't have in other countries.
No, you're so right. And it's not even just Dubai police. I feel like it's in everything. The taxis, you forget something in the taxi, you actually get something. Like, oh my God, Casey, 1 week ago, I forgot my makeup bag in the taxi. I was losing it. I'm not joking, by the way. I don't think anything
Makeup wearers can relate.
Like, I'm not, like, my makeup, because, when you, like, I feel like with makeup, when you buy a really good quality foundation and concealer that goes up to, like, 400 dirhams.
Yes.
And you need it, and it's in that bag, and it's like, come back to me. I cannot repurchase you again.
You lost your makeup bag.
I got it back, girl. I got it back. The next day, and he didn't just, by the way, like make me come pick it up from a location. He came and dropped it off at my house.
Wow.
Can you imagine that? I was just like, oh, okay. Like I feel safe here,
Did you, the way usually people reward if it's like a bit of cash, you reward with a bit of cash, where you're like, here's some of my fancy foundation.
See, I wasn't even home actually to greet him.
Oh, what a nice
But
guy.
imagine he came, he knocked on my door, and he delivered it, and he left with like wanting nothing in return.
That's something I find as well, that sometimes if you try and reciprocate some people, they're like, absolutely not. What a nice guy. You must have left a good impression on him for him to do that.
Oh, thanks. I didn't think of it that way, but it was amazing because I had just bought the Dior foundation and concealer like 1 week before that bag was
my
lost.
gosh.
And I'm like, no, we are not losing this. My makeup, I feel like you understand as a presenter.
I feel like everyone who builds up a makeup bag, because I've got stuff there that literally are a few years old, you know what I mean? But they still last.
Same, by
They're
the way.
good.
Same,
so the value of the whole bag is like a lot of money.
Exactly. Like, okay, the foundation, the concealer, that's fine. No, it's about the highlighter that I was gifted 3 years ago.
That you'll never rebuy.
All the way from London. I'm not gonna go there. How am I gonna get it back again? It's like that one product you really
the blusher
like.
that was a gift in a bag at some point, and you're like, this has literally been here for 3 years. It still works.
And you keep using it. Oh my God. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one.
Okay, thank you to that RTA. If you ever hear this story, a massive thanks to the man that got Ward's makeup bag back to her. Makeup lovers can relate. Guys, it is 8:48, which means it is the end of the Lovin Dubai show. Thank you so much for tuning in. It'll be Ward and myself back here tomorrow morning. Thank you, Ward.
Thank you, Casey.
We'll see you tomorrow morning, same time, same place. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.